you actually said, now correct me if I'm wrong, you actually said that you can't wait till we can go to full capacity in the office? It's an office of one. There's no more fuller capacity than this. Yeah, okay. This COVID stuff has got everybody saying silly things. Some people are saying not silly things. Some people are saying silly things. We're going to pursue the conversation about silly and non-silly things. It's a big discussion. It's a serious discussion. We'll be talking more about COVID. When I say we, of course, I'm talking about Season 2, Episode 41 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. That would be me. Fueled by Gales Gas Bars, supported by Performance Heating and Air, Virgin Insurance, as well as Enwick High-Speed Internet. And we are powered by and executively produced by WeeStream. We'll be talking more about that as time goes by. And we really want your participation today because the vax, non-vax thing, that really is a question. And it's big news, and there's new news coming today. So come on into Fiddler's Poorhouse, we'll get you sorted out, okay? Here we go. Wow, what a beautiful summer day. October the 14th, can you believe this? It's actually hot in the sunshine here in the lovely open air window of Fiddler's Poorhouse, and I managed to squeeze another week of shorts in. That's great. We'll be right back. We're just about ready here to go, getting myself finally plugged in so I'll be able to hear our guests when they come through the window of opportunity here. And you can do that as well. Keep in mind that link on the bottom of your page, click the Zoom link in the post as you see right there. That's all you have to do if you want to get in touch with the program and come in and say hi. And let me introduce you, as always, to our crack producer. No, I don't mean crack producer. I mean crack producer. It's all in the punctuation. Kevin Jack, executive producer of the program, co-founder of WeeStream, Niagara's, Ontario's, Canada's premier streaming company, and coming to you live and in living color right here in the open air window, Fiddlers.
Good afternoon, Lee. It's a beautiful Thursday. It's nice to be back in the open window here of Fiddler's Poorhouse. Yeah. And I'll just show people what I'm doing. If you think I'm looking down, I'm actually just about to share the post. So I would encourage anybody now.
And I'm doing that too.
If you're watching right Niagara 411 Live, click that share button. Okay. Click that share button. Share now, public. It's that easy. Okay. Let's spread this thing all across Niagara. It's something we encourage you to do every week.
I can't forget a comment that showed up on last week's show. I can't remember the man's name, doesn't matter. It says, well, after handling that telephone, this guy definitely has AIDS. I keep a clean office, I have you know.
Not even COVID, went straight to AIDS.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good throwback.
We skipped the whole COVID inconvenience. Went straight to that. All right. Now, let's kick this thing off with something that is happening today. This show is a very timely one, and we lucked out because of what's happening today on this Thursday, October the 14th, 2021. Premier Doug Ford is scheduled to, and I'm not sure what time. I should know that, but sometimes those political media conferences have a tendency to shift in time frame. But he is going to be announcing lightening of, or loosening of, if you will, COVID-19 restrictions. What he is expected to announce is the fact that capacity limits, just like we were talking about at the office down the street a couple minutes ago, capacity limits for businesses that heretofore have had limits maintained, i.e. restaurants, bars, or gyms, those businesses, those small businesses in particular, that have so far had to have seating limits, capacity limits. it is expected that those capacity limits will be lessened or eliminated, i.e. the big ones. Like last night, Montreal Canadiens take on the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Rogers Centre, 21,000 capacity crowd as long as you were double vaccinated. Kevin, it must have been an absolute goat show down there trying to get these people into the rink.
As a true blue and white Leafs fan, I am in a number of forums, and people are saying, yeah, it was chaos getting into, I guess, the Rogers Centre, Scotiabank Arena, whatever it's called now. So thousands of people queued up. I didn't watch the first period of the game last night to see if the stands were empty. Right. You know, how long it actually took for people to filter into the building, but it was good to see 100% capacity. Good to see a Leafs victory on opening night. I'll say that.
Yeah. All I know is if I had been going to the game, I most certainly would have showed up at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon to get in for the puck drop, you know, just to make sure. We are going to address that topic today head on because it's sort of the elephant in the room these days. People that do not believe in the vaccination, people that do believe in the vaccination, and those camps are split as well. Even the people that believe in getting the vaccination so they can live their lives might not necessarily believe in the drug or the vaccination itself. They're getting it so that they can live their lives, which I guess is kind of the point. We received quite a bit of reaction to a post that our close personal friend Kevin Jack put up on his own Facebook page, not on a WeeStream page, nothing, just a personal opinion. So I thought I would start this discussion there so that I can give you an idea about why we decided to do the vax or no vax, that is the question show. So this is Kevin's post that he put up on his own Facebook page. Tired of reading this vaccine nonsense on Facebook. Vaccine is unproven, alters DNA, tracking device, money for big pharma. COVID-19 is made in a lab, the flu, not killing anyone, from otherwise sane people nonetheless. My friends, in some cases, meaning Kevin's friends, you have taken a stand and that's okay. It's also okay to acquiesce. It's okay to give up the fight. Don't let this be the hill you die on, because you will. It was a quote that we came up with last week of the show, as a matter of fact, and Kevin sort of plagiarized me, but that's okay. No, in all seriousness, Canada is a beautiful democracy. We have spoken. Your freedoms, liberties, and ability to work will be taken from you, and we're okay with that. Get the shot or get left behind. You know who you are. Go ahead, yell sheepy at me from outside the restaurants. Sheeple?
That's what a lot of people call
sheeple?
Us vaccinated people. To the unvaxxed, we're sheeple.
Oh yeah, we're following the sheep. Right? Okay. That's good. Sheeple. From outside the restaurants, workplaces, airports, sports arenas, concert halls, schools, malls, and malls and everything else you won't be allowed into or get the shot and sit alongside me. I will not engage in debate in the comments. There is zero more to say or add. Get the shot. Which is, Kevin, you and I don't often go to even our private Facebook pages with stuff like this because it only invites a conflict, and I refuse to engage anytime I found myself engaging in something on Facebook, like responding to somebody that hates what I said or hate what I did or whatever it is, all it does is make it worse.
Yeah.
It just enhances the angst and the conflict. Well, the angst and the conflict is already there with this conversation. We're not creating it. But that is, Kevin's opinion is one man's opinion based on his experience through the period of COVID-19. Is it 100% right? I don't know. Maybe it is. Is it 100% wrong? Probably not. The people that say they don't want to get vaccinated or believe that their human rights are being infringed upon, are they 100% right? I don't know. Probably not. Are they 100% wrong? Probably not either. We seem to have, as some people call it, this great divide that is black and white. This issue is far from being black and white at all. It is like the book 50 Shades of Grey, only not as much fun. You know, it lies somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, as they call it. And one of the people that I know personally, because she's been on the program a couple of times, is Jan James. And she thinks totally differently from what I think. My thinking is just everybody just follow the mandates, keep it simple, follow the mandates, even if you believe it's not necessary. Sometimes, as Kevin said in his post, you got to pick the hill to die on. And that's probably not it, but it will be if you end up, this is how I kind of feel about it, you will be if you decide not to get the vaccine, because it might not kill you, like literally, but figuratively, i.e., it could kill you, it could kill the life as you know it, because your life will change for a long time, because there's stuff you're just not going to be able to do. And I don't understand people that don't want to do what they want to do, but that's where the debate comes in. Jan's going to be joining us at 12:15 today, 5 minutes from now or so, and we're going to have, and we are friendly, don't get me wrong, we're not adversarial. We have different points of view, which is why this is so good. And you'll see some numbers there. We'll quote the numbers in just a second as well and run them down for you, because we also do this as a podcast. For people that can't see the pictures, we do a podcast, so some of the information that I give you here seems redundant because you can see it on the screen. But that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why. So Jan and I are going to sort of present the issue, the elephant in the room, if you will. And there are a lot of nuances to this. And then we would really like you to have your say. I want to really get your feel for the vaccination issue, the double vax, the proof of vaccination, the vaccination passport, whatever you call it. And up until probably today, those places like restaurants and gyms have been, and in my opinion too, discriminated against horribly by having these capacity limits placed on their business when you've got 21,000 people showing up for a hockey game, shoulder to shoulder at the Rogers Centre. And
Lee, pretty soon we're going to have 5,000 plus at the Meridian Centre.
At the Meridian Centre,
and
yeah.
The Rankin Walkway, the bridge is right over there, and Kay Meilleur from the Meridian Centre is going to be joining us at about 12:45 to talk about the capacity limits, and also, hey, MMA is coming to the Meridian Centre for the very first time ever. So,
and on top of
there.
And the other part of the discussion is, it's been announced that our borders will be opening. The U.S. plans to, we believe, as all the indicators say, opening to fully vaxxed Canadians. Now, what the Americans, how they categorize that, how they measure that, I don't know, but fully vaxxed, I'm assuming still means 2 vaccinations and proof of same. The border is expected to open to Canadians crossing into the United States at all land border crossings next month. Not officially announced, but there it is. Now, Kevin, you had I apologize, I didn't take your lead right at the time, but you had 'the numbers up there.
I can throw it back up. No, it was just for the audience.
And
you didn't need to address it. It was just for the audience.
Well, just in case, we've got 717,000 plus doses administered in Niagara. New daily doses administered, about 1,200. Percent of Niagara residents administered with the first dose, 76%. Second dose, complete series, as it says, 72%. That's a pretty high number. And so you can, I understand the pushback against the vaccination passport thing. I understand that.
I'm shaking my head at this point, Lee, and to go to my point, my post a bit, it is okay to acquiesce. And I think people need to come to that realization.
Yeah.
I personally feel, and we'll hear from Jan, and we open it up to anybody. If you have refused the vaccine or you're pro-vaccine, by all means, come on the program and tell us why. We do not think your points are crazy. I don't know what this vaccine is going to do to me in 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Anybody that says they do is lying.
No, we don't know.
But I'm taking a leap of faith.
At some point in time, one of the so-called sides, if you will, I don't like the idea of it taking sides, but I guess it is, to a large degree, taking sides. We will not know for maybe decades which side won the ultimate fight in 2021. However, what we do know is the fight of vax or no vax to live your life as normally as you can. That fight's over. It's over for now.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this, Lee, and 72.3% of Niagarans are vaxxed, which means 27.7% of us are holding the rest of society back. That's how I interpret that number. There's 27% of people living in Niagara right now that are holding back the rest of society from moving forward, that are holding us from our freedoms, holding us from being able to live our lives the way we lived it pre-pandemic. That's what's happening. That's my interpretation.
Okay, okay. A little bit of counterpoint there. But are they? Or are they holding themselves back?
Well, until we
are, those of us that, the 76% of us, or 2% or whatever it said there, that are fully vaxxed, have the full series, as they say, we're not currently being held back from doing much.
We are to a degree. I still have to show my vaccination passport wherever I go.
Poor you.
Well, no, it's an inconvenience. I don't think I want that to be with us for the rest of our lives, but it is.
No. Now, that's another point that we can make our politicians or politician in our premier in particular hold feet to the fire. Because it was about, 2-3 weeks ago when the whole vaccination passport card thing was being proposed, and it looked imminent that it was going to happen. He said it's a temporary measure, and believe me, I'll lift it as fast as I can. Well, we'll hold him to that, because to go to Kevin's point, if we do get to whatever percentage they deem proper, 95%, 98%, I don't know what it is, but assuming it's high enough that the passport concept is actually irrelevant, will it be lifted? And then if it's lifted, how do we deal with the other 2%, or does the other 2% even matter? And maybe you'll be in that 2%. This is how complex these conversations, and people lose friends over this. And I have to tell you, I spent quite a bit of time with Jan James on the telephone yesterday, because I asked her to come on the show because I don't want it to be one talking head about this thing that has one perspective. We've always said in this program, we'll talk with anybody, we'll hear anything, we'll do it in a courteous, professional, and debate style, friendly manner, and everybody, including yourself, can air their perspective on anything we talk about in the show, not just this, anything at all. Because the last thing we want to be tossed into the barrel of inhabitants is, the media, said with some sort of dragon lilt to it, the media. We don't want to be that. We don't want to be that at all. But this is the elephant in the room, and we thought we'd give you an opportunity to address the elephant.
Lee, we are waiting on Jan to come in, but again, the room is open to anybody, so if you want to come in, just click on that Zoom link. A point that I was trying to get to the end of is saying that it's okay to acquiesce, it's okay to give up. I think what's happened is, if you go back to where this began, a lot of people dug their heels in and said, we don't need to shut everything down. Remember, no more lockdowns.
Of course.
And that's a business perspective.
And we talked to some of those people. The barber shops was that classic one.
There's other ways to handle this pandemic besides shutting us down. And I think there are some fair arguments there. And then that transitioned into mandatory masks. So now the same people feel compelled, well, I've already gone this far, now I must oppose masks.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you're opposing masks. And now you get to vaccines, and you've already drawn a line in the sand, and you're on that side of it. And I think they feel that they can't move to the other side.
Yeah, I've gone too far. I can't back up.
Now I have to be anti-vax, and this is me telling you, it's okay. It's okay to acquiesce. It's okay to say, you know what? I put up a fight. I fought for what I thought I believed in, for what I believed in, but I'm wrong.
If I'm wrong, if I want to live my life. I mean, there's a caveat.
Pretty much.
To that.
But you are preventing me from living my life to a degree. I know things are opening back up, but as of today, I can't go to certain places without showing my vaccine passport. And that's because of the 27% in Niagara that are not getting vaccinated.
And this is the argument that comes as well from folks, from some people who blame that concept for restaurants not being busier or not being more successful or as successful as they should be, is not just because of capacity limits, but because people that don't want to do the show of vaccination process aren't showing up, aren't peopling restaurants. I know there were a couple of restaurants, one in particular, closed here in downtown St. Catharines this week. There are restaurants all over Niagara that are still suffering. Now, is it because of capacity levels? Is it because you have to show your double vaccination or proof of vaccination? I don't know. I don't know at what point those numbers coincide. There are a lot of things I don't know. There are a lot of things that we don't know. No, we're not 100% sure how the vaccine. We're not 100% sure what's in it, how it's going to react. We're not doctors or scientists. All we are is people trying to live our lives, protect our loved ones, stay healthy, and live as long as we can in a productive way. That's all we know. We don't know, as a post came up on Facebook not long ago, we don't know what's in Tylenol. We don't know what there's a lot of things we don't know its ingredients. What's in your hot dog? How do you know the restaurant you were in used clean food and clean kitchen practices? And how do you know? You don't know. You take it on faith. And that's how this whole vaccine thing is based, is on faith that the science is giving you proper direction, and we're depending on our medical professionals to help us through this. That's kind of my take on it. Some people have said, well, back in the days of smallpox and polio and measles and mumps and all of these things, people took medical doctors' word as gospel. We didn't question as many things in that generation. My parents were like that. Well, the doctor said. If the doctor said it, it must be true. And that's a generational thing. Now we're almost at the point of the opposite. We don't believe anything anybody tells us.
And I think it's good, Lee. I think we're a more woke society by questioning things.
Look at you talking all hip.
I think that a lot of the points that are made for people that resist the vaccine are valid. But I think they're the valid points of a larger losing discussion.
I understand.
If that makes any sense. And Lee, just so you know, we do have Jan in the green room now.
She made it. I was just checking to see if everything was okay.
And right when I close my yap here, we'll get to Jan. I encourage everybody to join the program, pro, anti, whatever, but I just want them to know that this is a welcome room. And if you say things like, we don't know what's in it, I'll agree with you, we don't. I still think that's on the losing side of the argument.
Yeah.
If you say things
I don't disagree.
Like, some people are having adverse reactions. Yeah, okay, I'd agree with that. That's on the losing side of the argument. But I don't think those points are invalid. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people think that people that are getting their vaccine are just disregarding all this. Oh, no, I accept all of those other things that you're saying.
Right.
But it's the losing side of the argument. Every argument
for the time being, it certainly is.
And I might be proven wrong in time. But
now,
anyway, I'll get off this, Lee.
Well, we'll get back on it in a minute. Jan, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're great. Thank you very much. Now, I want to do a rewind here before we get to the so-called elephant in the room. I want to revisit the snake in the park.
Exactly. I'm so glad you brought that up because
you had a lot of comments because we talked to you about the python that you encountered on your walk in Niagara Falls last week. And we were all corrected because we don't know nothing about snakes. It was
exactly.
It turned out to be what, a bull python?
A ball python.
A ball
apparently.
python, right?
Yes, okay. I as I said right off, and I did mention it in the actual post that we did, that I didn't know what it was, and a passerby had come by and
oh yeah, he told you what it was, yeah.
Yes, he told me what it was. And I even said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." He seemed to be pretty confident that he knew snakes. So, I mean, I didn't know, did I just run into Crocodile Dundee? I don't, claim to be, a snake expert.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, guys. I think that the main point was that it was what was found and the shock of it, and it's too bad somebody let it go like that.
Yeah, and it was a species. Pythons, by any other name, are not indigenous to Niagara. So, be it a ball python, a Burmese or Lithuanian python, pythons aren't supposed to be on a walking trail in Niagara Falls.
Absolutely, and actually, I had cross-posted this on a couple different social media platforms and got corrected on another one by a girl who seems to know a lot about snakes on Instagram, and she mentioned that it was possibly overfed and that stomach exploded, and I mean, she got into more details than I think most would know, and she probably knew more about snakes. I really haven't gotten into it with her too much, but she did say that, those were possibilities and that it was a ball python, and at full growth that it would reach 4 to 5 feet at the most. So that was probably a full-grown one.
Probably an adult snake, yeah. All right, so we have solved that little mystery.
Yes, check on the ball python.
Yeah. So there you go. Now,
yes,
Jan, I chatted in the interest of full disclosure to people watching this program today. I talked to you yesterday because you were very open with me privately about your concerns about these mandates of having to be double vaxxed to use our restaurants and do just about anything these days. You are not someone that believes in the vaccine, etc. You have not been vaccinated, if I understand correctly, and the weight of scientific opinion out there is not on your side, is not on the side of people that think and believe as you do. I want to start here. Why do you have the position that you have, personally, for you? Not all of society, for you. Why didn't you get on the bus?
Well, I mean, this isn't the type of subject that I would normally deal with, as we know, with my page, Niagara Things to Do. It's one of these things that it's more personal. I have not disclosed if I've been vaxxed or not. I believe that is personal and medical information that should not have to be disclosed to anybody. Okay. I don't ask you, like you opened the show with somebody saying that after you touching the phone, you have AIDS, and I thought it was totally offensive and I was hurt by it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, okay, let's start with that. Do you walk around with a card proving whether you have AIDS or not? Does somebody have the right to ask you if you have a card to prove whether you have AIDS or not?
Very, very, very valid point. Absolutely a valid point. And well stated. My assumption.
AIDS is a lot worse.
My assumption.
AIDS is a lot worse than COVID. So to even go down that road.
This person.
Sorry, I just want to say, Lee, we have a delay reaction all the time. So I've noticed that in our previous ones. I don't try and overtalk you, just so you know. There's a 2-second delay from the Zoom, so totally. I apologize for any interferences or delays like that. Yeah, we're not actually Zooming at this moment, but it's streaming. But yeah, there's a bit of a delay, and that's natural. That's okay. Now this fellow that said that, in all defense to him, I have a pretty wide base for sense of humor. I knew he was making a joke. Didn't bother me. But it might have bothered someone that was ill. I can see some people being offended by something like that for a totally different reason. But your comment about should people have the right to ask, this is one of the things that lies at we still have bees around here,
This is one of the things that lies at the heart of this conversation, is that you're infringing on my personal rights by even asking me. Now, what someone that's sitting in the easy chair on my side of the fence would say to you, you're being asked because it's for the greater good. It's not because we want to
then everything
but
should be for the greater good, right?
I'm saying
should be.
Everything should be, yeah. So let me just interject this by saying I have a lot of gay friends, and going back to this whole thing, I mean, what will be next? That they're going to have to prove that they, don't have AIDS and walk around and prove with their card? What will be next? If you enforce this type of policy, we can already see what's happening. And the reason one of the things I pointed out to you is, there's a number, and people, please do not quote me on numbers, because I don't claim to be a statistician. I don't claim to be a medical expert. I don't claim to give medical advice. Okay, we're just having this as a friendly debate, as a university type of debate, right? And we've agreed on that. Yeah,
you're on one side, I'm on another. I'm a promoter, and for me, I promote restaurants. I promote events. You were just talking about these events.
Yeah.
I don't believe that 5,000 seat venue will be able to fill to full capacity based on this mandate. As a promoter, that worries me. I know 5 restaurants that have posted already on restaurant groups and forums that have closed this week alone based on this mandate being put on them.
Okay.
These are small mom and pop businesses. They can't afford another hit.
I understand that.
That's just reality.
And it's a valid point, and we will see. The capacity limits, I don't know if you heard this part of the program at the beginning or not, but it is expected that our premier will announce today that the capacity limits on places like restaurants and gyms will be lifted. Now, that's not 100% certain. It's just that that's what the so-called pundits, to use that word, believe will be part of the announcement today. Now, but to go to your point
about... But how does that help? Even if they increase the capacity, it's going to be increasing the capacity of those that are vaxxed.
Correct.
The whole point is you have a whole segment of the population right now that is protesting worldwide. Mm-hmm. Worldwide. Italy, France, everywhere is protesting worldwide. Europe is in full protest. There's millions of people on the streets protesting this. Why is that? Why were 900 nurses just let go in Toronto Hospital?
That is not true. It is
that.
Jan, please take a breath for just a second. 900.
I'm very passionate about this.
I know.
It's troubling.
We all are passionate about our positions. 900 nurses were not let go. You made a statement that 900 nurses in Toronto were not let go. It is not true.
What is the number? As I said, don't quote me on the numbers.
There are medical health professionals, including nurses, that will probably not be able to continue to be employed if they don't get the vaccinations. The biggest fear, but there is a massive fear. I will agree with you. There is a massive fear of a lack of nurses happening across the country. Toronto, of course, is our biggest one, and the article actually said that they fear losing that many nurses at just a couple of hospitals because they are COVID tired, because they are stressed.
A couple hospitals? There's a mass CTV Global. I know you don't like my references of TikTok or any of those places where people
you can reference freely, you like.
Right? But let's just go with Global and CTV. I've got it here, and I got them, and I'll send you all the pages if you want to post it, so you can use them as the fact checking. Global and CTV have reported a mass exodus. Their words, not mine.
Yes.
Their words. Mass exodus of the nurses leaving the profession.
But we're not.
It's scary.
But not because they have to get a COVID shot.
Yes, it is, Lee.
No,
yes, it is. The timing is exactly that.
That's a point that people can do. people can do their own research. We can go back and forth. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. He said, she said.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean,
so,
like I said, I have all the stats here too. We can go over that. But I mean, to deny
stats. I don't want to talk
a mass
stats.
exodus, that's kind of weird, right? Like to say, well, we don't know. If it's 900, if it's 500, what if it's 300? What does it matter? It's a mass exodus, and it's being reported worldwide.
Hey,
to deny that,
Lee and Jan, I'm just going to hop in here to maybe
get
this conversation back to some place that it's more productive. And let me just steer you back here, Jan. It seems as though the government's mind is made up, at least in Canada. Yeah. So how far are you, and I know this is just your opinion, how far are you willing to go, and how long are you willing to hold off on getting a vaccine?
I mean, that would be a question for millions of people worldwide right now, right? I mean, get on, I highly advise this. I know you guys don't, but I'm going to put it out there. Get on TikTok and check out what's happening worldwide, people. Download this app and look worldwide what people are saying worldwide.
No, but I just asked you
without being censored.
Jan, I just asked you a direct question, because this is what a lot of people are faced with, is how long are you going to continue to not be vaccinated and see your freedoms and liberties taken away? Have you considered that?
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that the government realizes with all the mass exodus of the health community, here's the thing. If people do get sick and you do end up in the hospital and need treatment, what are you going to do if it's a mass exodus of the medical community leaving? I'm speaking for all those nurses who are out now. I'm speaking for the medical. I've seen doctors reporting they're walking. Listen, there was 1,000 flights canceled last week. Let's talk about that. What about the 1,000 flights this week that were canceled? Why? Because the pilots are refusing. This is huge, guys. To deny these numbers is to deny the truth of what's going on worldwide.
Okay.
I can close my eyes. I can wear blinders, but I can't ignore the numbers.
Now,
I'm sorry.
This is something. This is where the arguments or conversations tend to lose traction. When someone with a point of view accuses other people of wearing blinders and such like, this is where the rhetoric starts to leave scars and marks that don't do anybody any good whatsoever.
Well, how do you deny what I just said? 1,000 flights last week, hundreds of nurses. These numbers are huge. This is our workforce. This is our community. If this is happening, what are we doing?
Jan?
Yes.
I urge everyone to do their own reading, to do their own research, and formulate their own opinions. Because you say it doesn't make it true. Because I say it.
I'm all for that. Please research, everybody. Please do your own research.
Yes, please do. The nurses.
Yes, I'm all for it.
I talked to a nurse yesterday who understood the fact that there were some nurses who are resisting getting the shot because they are, she said, most of them are of the younger generation because they're not sure of long-term effects. We're not sure, neither am I, nobody's sure of what long-term effects might exist. For example, if they want to have a family in the future, etc., they have some concerns. They don't have facts, they don't have statistics, they don't have numbers, they have concerns. If you read most of the articles, now here's the counterpoint to your point. If you read most of the articles about why people are leaving the medical profession, it is because of their fatigue, their burnout, and their lack of interest in putting up with the kind of volume that they have been putting up with since March of 2020. Not
yes,
the majority.
I know a few nurses myself, Lee, and I've spoke with them too, and it's not just that, okay? That is a huge part of it. To deny that would be crazy, but it's not the end all.
Let me hop in again, Lee, because I think we're getting bogged down maybe in minutia. And get back to, I mean, Jan, you were making good points in saying that, you know, hey, what about the flights? And even if we stick a number to healthcare workers and say this many healthcare workers are leaving because they refuse to get the shot or because of COVID or what have you, it's still it's still the minority of people. We could have 1 million people in Canada march on Parliament Hill, and that's still only 3% of the population. 72% of the population in Canada has got the shot, which means the people that haven't, even if they all protest it loudly.
Wait a minute, I thought we weren't talking numbers, and it's not 72%, Kevin. I don't believe those numbers, not for a second, not for a minute. I mean, I've seen all kinds of other forums that say it's 45%. So we can't talk numbers, remember? Because those numbers aren't accurate.
No, you were throwing out numbers about the number of flights that were canceled, the number of nurses, and I'm saying, yes, people can protest, but they are still in the minority. This is still a minority of people.
How is it the minority when there's millions of people worldwide?
Because there are billions of people worldwide.
Kevin, please.
Because there are billions of people.
Side screen right now and pull up TikTok and pull up protests worldwide.
I just showed the statistics in Niagara that shows 72% of the population is vaccinated, and Canada, it's a similar number.
Who was those statistics put out by?
Niagara Region Health and Canadian
Of course
Health.
It is. Of course it is. They want you.
So you don't. But you don't.
Come on, let's talk the reality here. The reality
That's
is
what we're attempting to do.
The medical community is walking en masse. Doctors have come forward on TikTok. Doctors, why would they put their name, their profession, everything on the line? Whether you think that app is for kids or not, I tell you it's not. There's doctors, there's lawyers, there's all kinds of professionals on there.
Yes, there are. Yes,
incredible facts. They're able to take their cell phone and film things live around the world. There's no censorship.
Okay.
They're putting out there everything they got right now, and everybody is fighting for their freedom, okay? This is a big thing. You guys, if you chose to take the vaccine, that's your choice. If I choose not to, that's my choice.
Yes, it is.
If you got the vaccine, you're protected. Why are you worried?
It is totally your choice. That is the point.
And if you got the vaccine, what are you worried about?
May I make a point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your show. Please.
Well, one wonders. But
sorry. You know when you get into it with a woman, you're in trouble. That's probably why you guys don't have a woman on there. It's trouble.
Okay. Now, on behalf of women everywhere, I would say it was a very sexist comment. But
oh well, listen. The numbers speak for themselves, right? Mix me in there.
Now, the point is, when you said about your decision, it is totally your decision. It is totally my decision.
Right.
Now, this isn't your first trip around the sun. I'm not going to ask you your age, but you've been on the planet for a while. Professional, successful woman in business, the whole meal deal. So, that being said, everybody that has taken a few trips around the sun realizes, and our parents try to teach us this from diapers to doom, is that every choice has its consequences. Every choice has its results. You make a choice, so therefore you need to live with the consequences or the results of making that choice. Everybody has a choice. Where the rubber hits the road with this conversation that causes so much controversy is someone making their choices for them, and I get that. And right now we are in a position of medical experts and scientists that are hired to do this, as well as politicians, which always kind of muddy the waters. They have made the choice based on whatever information they have that they believe, and that's the choice. Now, those of us that are, and you can ask me if I'm vaccinated or not, I don't really care. You can ask me if I have AIDS or not, I don't care. I'll answer the question, it doesn't bother me. So, the fact is...
Wait, that's the type of person you are, it doesn't bother you, but you can't speak for everyone.
The fact is, the people that have made the choice that I have made to do the vaccine thing and listen to the advice of certain experts, that's a choice I have made. those of people that have made a choice not to have to deal with the consequences.
Fauci?
Pardon?
Are you talking Fauci, that expert? Are you talking Fauci, that expert?
Around the world, World Health Organization, call it as you will. All I'm saying is choices. I agree with you. It's everybody's choice. But if you make a choice, you got to live with the consequences. That's it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
I'm all for it. Everyone make their choice.
So
absolutely.
you choose.
And please do your research. Absolutely. I say all of that. You know what? Here's my question, and I'll leave it with this. And remember, I didn't really come off for this, but I love to debate, and I think this is, again, people, please keep in mind that I'm really treating this as a university debate amongst friends.
Debate on point.
I'm not trying to make enemies here,
Okay. What is your question?
Well, hey, let's debate. Let's debate on point. You ready?
Ask me your one question, then we'll move on. What's your question?
Okay. Well, it's not even a question. I'm going to make
you said you had one question
I'll leave
for
it
me.
with this. I'll leave it with this.
All right.
Okay, my question is this. Riddle me this, Lee. Riddle me this. Why is it that of all the people who this mandate is on to do this, how come the very people that are making these vaccinations, i.e. Pfizer, Mod, and Modern, Pfizer, Mod, and J&J, their employees are not mandated to take the vax? What? What? Oh yeah, fact check that one. Because now, I'll leave you with that. All
There's
the people, we are mandated worldwide to take this vax, but the very people who are making it, their employees are not. Each of their people employ over 2,000 at one company, over 1,000. Again, don't quote the numbers. Check this out. Google it. Fact check it. Do what you got to do. Those people are not taking the vax. Guess what? Neither is the White House staff. Questionable. Check it out. When they don't have to and we do, that's a problem.
Those are all good questions. Those are all good.
I wish I had the mic. I'd drop the mic right now.
Listen, Jan Lee, I'm going to come in here and throw you guys a bit of a safety net. Jan, what you've just done is very difficult for people to do. I have the utmost respect for you.
Google it. Get on TikTok.
No. Hold on.
Seriously.
I have the utmost respect for you coming on the show and voicing your opinion, which may not be shared by all. There are a lot of people that when they get in groups of their supporters will openly have these conversations, but you came on here knowing that you were going to meet resistance, and a lot of people share your thoughts, and a lot of them are kind of lurking in the weeds.
True.
We encourage them to come on the show. You did, and I got a lot of respect for that.
And I as well.
Thank you, Kevin. And as I say, I really hope, I don't want you to take anything personal. You guys got your opinions, I got mine. You know what? This whole thing, and everybody knows this too. Everybody knows that this was created to create a divide amongst people, and it's working. They're doing their job, and it's working. And it's these kind of debates and these kind of things that people are fighting about amongst themselves, amongst their family, amongst their co-workers,
yes, it is a division.
Friends.
Yep, it is
a divide. It's a great divide, and it's a sad thing.
It is.
You know what? The other thing is, I'm a foodie poster, and I'm seeing restaurants are closing left, right, and center. 5 this week alone. Why? Because of the mandate. You want to ask me how I know that? I talk to the restaurant owners. So,
Jan?
I don't know what else to say.
Time out.
It is troubling. I am concerned. I am scared.
Okay. And we'll leave your comments on that note. I echo Kevin in saying thank you for doing this, because what we wanted to do was bring both sides and both passions of this debate to this program. That's what we've done with your help. We thank you very much. Have a great weekend. And one day, we'll come together in our rocking chairs on a porch somewhere and look back on this and say, who knew?
We've got to follow up on this one. I'm sure this is a hot topic.
Stop selling. Just say thanks. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Guys, I hope I haven't lost any of my followers on my page. Get on my page, Niagara Things to Do. Absolutely. I got to plug myself.
Niagara
Facebook,
Things to Do.
Niagara Things to Do, or the Boss Niagara Falls on TikTok, and all that stuff, guys.
Got it. We got it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Okay. There you go. About as passionate a support for the reasons not to get a vaccine as you will ever hear. And that's great. When Jan and I talked about this off the air on the phone yesterday, I said there is no hope that I'm going to convince you of anything that you don't already believe, and there is no hope that you're going to convince me of anything that you believe. But there is hope that we have the conversations as logically as we can. And there is so much stuff that is available on the internet, call it traditional media, I hate that phrase, but whatever, that you should do your own objective research. Read a lot from a lot of, even sources that you don't like. Read that. One of the problems is that so many people will read something because it agrees with them. And that educates no one. Read stuff from people or sources that you don't agree with. Anyway, I can't put more of a fine point on it other than to say, now there it is. That's the elephant that we've got. And if you want to toss your opinion hat into the proverbial ring, please click on that Zoom link in the bottom and come on and voice your opinion. Tell us how you think this is going, how you feel about, and that's really where it comes. It's feelings. And that when we talked about not quoting numbers, we said yesterday, I don't want to get bogged down in stats and numbers because everybody can throw out numbers. And after a while, your eyes glaze over. It's like, oh, another number. I don't. But how it makes you feel is really the crux of this. How people feel about their lives, and this. And to Jan's point, it is a very divisive issue. It is the great divide. We have that in our family as well. Not everybody in our family gets around the campfire and sings COVID Kumbaya. There are all kinds of debates and differences of opinion.
Yeah, Lee, I find it ironic that she supports restaurants, and yet if everybody got a vaccine, the restaurants would be able to open up again to full capacity for all walks and would be able to operate and thrive on a level playing field.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of hindering their success. And as mean of a segue, it was great to see that capacity limits have been opened up, and we're expecting an announcement, I guess, either today or tomorrow from the Premier.
It's supposed to be today, but
about
we haven't seen anything yet.
Restaurants and bars and gyms and what have you.
Yeah.
But at sporting arenas, great to see 21,000 last night for the Leafs home opener. And, hey, IceDogs are back at it right across the road at the Meridian Centre. And we've got MMA coming to the Meridian Centre, so let's welcome Kay Meilleur from the Meridian Centre.
Yeah. Is she with us?
Yeah, she's right there.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at my notes. Hi, Kay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lee?
Well, I'm just Jim Dandy. Thank you. There's an old phrase. Who the hell is Jim Dandy?
Jim Dandy.
Kay Meilleur, as Kevin says, marketing director of the Meridian Centre. And wow, it's been a challenging year and a half for venues like yours, hasn't it?
It has. We've never seen anything like it, of course. And it has been. It's been tough on us. We were the first to close. We're the last to open, and we feel like there's hope, and we're finally getting there.
Well, we're so happy that you still got that hope fire burning, if you will. The reason I have so many questions I have for you, but the main reason we contacted you is there was a very cool announcement made today that the MME, a professional arm of the MME, is.
You mean the MMA?
MMA. I'm sorry. I get my vowels mixed up.
You're probably confusing it with WWE.
No, I'm not confusing it at all. I just said the wrong letter. The MMA. Actually, I knew there was something wrong with that. It just wasn't clicking. Is coming to the Meridian Centre on November the 20th. It's a Saturday night, the third week in November, and that's got to be exciting for you to have an event of that size, of that nature coming in.
It's fun because we've actually been working on this event pre-COVID. It was in the books. It was close to getting announced, and then we had to cancel it, obviously because of COVID. But we have been working with them for some time, and we're super excited because we've never had MMA in the building before, and it's something new for us. And as an event person, I'm excited about it because I've actually never attended an MMA event before. I've seen WWE, I've seen wrestling. So, my kids have been to wrestling events, and this is kind of a different thing for us.
Yeah.
And I'm actually learning a lot about it this week. And I wasn't really sure what the audience would be like, but it's very similar to wrestling, where it's actually quite family oriented. So we expect a lot of young fans and families in the crowd on November 20th.
Now, this arm of the MMA, this league or division, is one that, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin and Kay, or this is one that sort of just bubbles under the level of the UFC. Is that correct? Or is it on par with the UFC?
I don't think it's on par. I think you're probably right. I think it bubbles under.
Yeah.
I think that it is, certainly professional fights, everything is top notch. I think the fights on the 20th, I think there's a $10,000 prize at the end of it. So even just in comparing the prizes for UFC compared to this, it is just under, but still really professional.
Oh yeah, well our previous, one of our previous guests from Niagara, Jasmine Jazadovicius, is a professional MMA fighter, and she just got her first contract with the UFC, and she came up through the division of fighters that are going to be entertaining the fans at Meridian Centre on November the 20th. So she came up through that stream, if you will, of fighters. So these are good fighters.
Yeah, she will be here on the 20th.
Will she?
She's one of the fighters lined up on the lineup. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in the press release. So I noticed it yesterday because she is from Niagara, so I did notice that. Sorry,
Kay, just for point of clarification, because Jasmine's a friend of the show. We've talked to her a couple of times, and in the press release that I saw, and correct me, is that it says it's helped six reach the UFC, including Niagara Region's Jasmine Jazadovicius. But it does not say that necessarily
she's not here. Maybe I'm giving wrong information.
Okay, because
I just didn't want people to think that Jasmine was fighting. And considering she signed a UFC contract, I don't think that she would come fight for BTR. But it just goes to show the level of fighter that we're getting at the Meridian Centre,
BTC.
And how professional it is. Sorry, BTC. That it is the stepping stone to the UFC, and that's proven by Jasmine's success now. An accredited and contracted UFC fighter.
Yeah.
So thanks. Like I said, I'm just learning about all of this stuff, so thanks for the correction. And I knew I did see her name come across in the press release, and I did think it was one of the fights. But you're absolutely right. The caliber of fighting is phenomenal. So
can I? First of all, before I ask you another question, kind of shifting gears a little bit, I'm assuming we buy our tickets online.
Yes. So tickets go on sale to the general public next Wednesday, but if you sign up on my In the Know newsletter for the Meridian Centre before Friday at 5 p.m., you'll be included in an e-blast to get early ticket access for pre-sale.
Cool.
It's interesting. I've had a ton of people messaging on social media asking when the tickets are on sale. So it's kind of nice to see that. It's an indication that people are interested in waiting ready to pounce and buy their tickets. And they're not an inexpensive ticket either. They're about $90 plus taxes and fees and all that fun stuff. And then it's set up like, some of the boxing matches, wrestling matches. It's got table seating, VIP premium table seating as well. So that is the only thing you would need to contact the Meridian Centre for, is if you're interested in that kind of premium setting. And those tables they're tables of 8, and they're about $13.95 each for the tables. And, it'll include bottle service.
Right.
Food and
now, let me segue into sort of a sidebar of the conversation we just had previously, because it affects events like yours. I'm assuming that on November the 20th, people that are coming into your facility will need proof of vaccination. Am I assuming correctly?
You are assuming correctly, and otherwise we really wouldn't be able to have events. We've been talking about this for a long time, months and months and months. It's really been preoccupying much of our time, policies, procedures, but we absolutely are making sure that we're checking everyone's vaccination, their identification. We've already been doing that, Lee, since September 18th.
I'm sure you have. I just wanted to get it out there again in light of our conversation here today.
Yeah, I was tuning into the last several minutes of that other interview, and I certainly won't go into that, but I'm happy that when I have a full house, I know that my 5,000 friends are going to be vaccinated. So
let me ask you this.
I feel safe and secure about
maybe
that.
I can jump in
Go
on
ahead,
that, Lee. To your credit and your staff's credit, Kay, I'm one of the guys here in Niagara that plays in the leagues at night at the Meridian Centre. And I have not been more thoroughly scrutinized getting into a building than I was getting into the Meridian Centre. And I tip my cap to you. It was by no means an inconvenience. I knew to show up a little bit early, and I knew that everybody that was stepping on that ice that night was scrutinized just as much as I was, and that gave me a safe comfort. So you're absolutely doing the right thing from the top down.
One of the comments made in the previous conversation, and I'm really interested about this one, because it is a valid point with regard to businesses being successful or events being successful. And that is, if there is a proof of vaccination required to be able to participate, will those venues, events, businesses be successful, or is it a deterrent enough to ruin the economic viability of a business? Do you believe that people will stay away because of the vax thing, or are you still going to fill it up?
Oh my gosh, no, people are coming. Absolutely. I mean, just look at the percentage of people who are vaccinated in Niagara. When you just speak on percentages alone, the minority are anti-vaxxers and are not getting vaccinated. The rest of us want to get back to life and get back to living and get back to eating in restaurants and get back to coming to events and seeing concerts. And that's where the majority of people are. Stick a needle in my eye if you have to. Get me back to concerts. Get me to events. I don't care what I have to do.
So you're not concerned. You're not concerned on that level with selling enough tickets for November 20th. You're confident it's going to be close to capacity then?
I'm confident it's going to be close to capacity. I think people, they know about it. They know that they need to come vaccinated. And we've already seen an influx of interest in people reaching out and wanting tickets. I think there's enough people who are vaccinated who are going to make an effort to come to the events.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, when people are coming in, just a sidebar, the IceDogs games. So it was home opener on Saturday. We just got notified at 5 o'clock that on Friday that we could move to full capacity. We didn't get to full capacity because it was such short notice, but I think we probably had 3,200 people in the building.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good for, just less than 24 hours notice. And now that people know, everything's open. So come on down and buy our tickets, because we will get to capacity. There's also, there's other things that are going on. People might be a little hesitant, but I think the majority of people are feeling confident and comfortable that those people who are surrounding them, because there isn't pod seating, there isn't 6 feet social distancing. It's not in the guidelines anymore.
Right.
So I think that it helps people to feel secure walking in that building, knowing that the person sitting next to them eating popcorn, who they don't know, is vaccinated.
Kay,
And we have to be able to provide that to them.
Kay, while we have you here, you've got the stage, as it were. Is there any other Meridian Centre news that you want to pass along to us about anything upcoming that are plans that you'd like us to know about?
Yeah, so I also announced the Harlem Globetrotters are coming back. I announced that yesterday. They're coming back in 2022. March 3rd, they'll be here.
Okay.
I'm actually really excited about that one because I'm a mom. I have teen kids. There's been nothing for our kids to do for a very, very long time. I think it's been really hard on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm happy that the Globetrotters are coming because they're fun. They're really fun for kids of all ages.
It is. It is. That's an old phrase, but it's true.
No matter what age you are. So I'm really excited that has come out, and tickets go on sale for that on the 21st with my pre-sale. So we've got some time for those tickets, but again, really looking forward to that. And we still have some of our, we have Jan Arden's on sale. We have Bachman Cummings is on sale. We have Glorious Sons, which when we announced that, that was the last show that we were supposed to have. It was a week out before before the world shut down. So that show, I think, is practically sold out. There might be a couple hundred tickets left, maybe.
Terrific.
But,
good.
Yeah. So that.
Good.
And then again, that's an indication that people just want to get back to events. So.
Kay Meilleur, a marketing director of the Meridian Centre, thank you for suffering the slings and arrows of the last 18 months or so, and everybody that is behind that facility at the Meridian Centre, and facilities like it all over Niagara that are finally being able to get their feet back under them. Congratulations for making the trip through. And happy to have you back. And I hope the MMA night, and I'm sure it will be, is a massive success on November the 20th. Maybe you can let us know your numbers and things like that, because it's going to be something that people will track going forward to see how places are doing. So, so all the best. Good luck. Thanks for being here and taking the time out. And we'll see you later.
Thanks, Lee. Take care.
Yeah, you too. One of the things that was interesting in the article that I read about what is supposedly going to be announced today by the provincial government is, in addition to the relaxing of restrictions on restaurants and gyms and places like that as far as capacity is concerned, and but with the vaccination proof still in force, one of the things that it reiterated was the fact that restrictions still would not be required in places of worship. Now, here is where some of this great divide the fire of that will be fueled by things like this, because if I were on the side of the anti-vaxxers, if I believed that those restrictions should not be in place, I would use this as an example of what's the difference. What is the difference of people gathering shoulder to shoulder that aren't vaccinated in a place of worship as opposed to a place of dining? What is the difference? I don't understand. If you want to talk to God, it's okay. If you want to talk to your waitress or server, it's not okay. I don't intend to be blasphemous. I don't think I am. I just don't understand. If it's a gathering, it's a gathering, it's a gathering. Why is there a difference? I guess I can't answer it. I said very early on in this, Kevin, if you try to make sense of things going on during the whole COVID thing, all you're going to end up with is a headache. Because there are always nuances that you kind of go, like the RCA dog, you kind of go, huh?
Yeah, Lee, and I encourage everybody and remind you that the show is wide open. We put a Zoom link right there in the comments. So if you want to come on and talk about any of the things that we've already touched on the program, this way or that, or anything that suits your fancy, just click on the Zoom link and hop on the show.
There have been a number of comments as I've been looking that are on Niagara 411. Thanks, by the way, again, I hadn't done this yet, to Nick at Niagara 411. Always a pleasure to partner with you on content stuff and the streaming of this program from WeeStream. And while we're at it, we'll talk to our sponsors again, whom we have neglected terribly during this program, and I apologize for that. Gales Gas Bars, fueling this program, our title sponsor, as always, much appreciated for your continued support of this program. Also, Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and the gang trying to save your family money because they have families here too. High-speed internet, Enwick. Probably the only community I've ever heard of that has contract or no contract plans and the flexibility of high-speed internet access, rural as well as urban, and that is Enwick. Mark Shirk and his great crew here in Niagara at Verge Insurance Group, again, for your continued support, we thank you. And the chapeau today, as always, sourced at Beau Chapeau on Queen Street, right downtown in Niagara on the Lake. At any given time, about 10,000 different hats in there, in their stock, and as well as restoration services of vintage hats. And just say hat, and then look under the drop-down menu, and everything is Beau Chapeau. It is there, and it's always nice to be able to wear their product. I got a stack of them in my closet at home. Any more hats? My wife is moving out.
Let me throw this up here, because here's a guy that could have used a hat. Bad hair day for this guy.
Oh yeah, now there's a guy that needs a hat. This is the dude that has been arrested in connection with the damaging of the statue of Harriet Tubman in St. Catherine. Now, this is in the City Hall area, correct, Kev?
Geneva Street.
Geneva Street. Oh, it's right on, yeah.
It's downtown-ish.
Downtown-ish, yeah. So, the story was, apparently, I don't know all the details of it, but anyway, this guy was spending some time hanging around, or whatever it is, in this particular square, this particular area, and toppled the statue of Harriet Tubman, damaging the face. I guess he just somehow pushed it over, and is now under arrest. And we don't really know whether it was racially motivated or not. My gut tells me that it wasn't, but it might have. It's just some people commit vandalism just because they're stupid, you know? And sometimes you just can't fix stupid. But it's unfortunate that this happened for whatever reason. Is it a case once again of an inner city person with some sort of mental illness? We don't know. And we're not going to conjecture, but there's all kinds of things, and it's so unfortunate that this happened, and it will obviously be restored to full health, and so that's one of the unfortunate stories. But at least the person is in custody, and the right things will be done, whatever they might be, depending on the circumstances. Kevin, we have coyotes in town.
Yeah, we do.
There was, I don't know why I laughed at that. It's not really funny, but I guess it was because it was such a change of pace from the conversations of today. But this appeared on Niagara 411 as well. A couple of large coyotes sighted in the Welland Avenue and Grantham Road areas. Now, that's a pretty populated area, but it's not far from field and open areas as well that run behind that area, sort of like under the Garden City Skyway. So there are a lot of open areas where coyotes could live, and then they would stray into more urban areas from there. Now, that link that is on there from CoyoteWatchCanada.com, it has some great facts about the species itself. and then some really, really good tips at the bottom of this for people coexisting with coyotes, because it looks like we are going to be in a position of having to do so for quite some time in Niagara, because this is certainly not the first sighting. A couple of sightings that became quite widely known and talked about are the ones in the more north end of St. Catharines off Lake Street in a park down there. So there are different areas. They're not confined to one particular subdivision or one particular area. So it's just, keep an eye on your kids and your small animals and things like that that might be in
can be a little
those kinds
scary,
of areas.
especially as owners of pets and what have
Yeah.
you. Lee, here's some somewhat exciting news that Nick put up on Niagara 411.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Total retail environment.
There it is.
At first, this made me really happy, and then I poured into the details and realized that I don't think it's what a lot of us would want.
Kevin is an IKEA guy, loves IKEA. And we lost the IKEA order store, as they called it, the catalog store, whatever, something like that was at the Fairview Mall. It shuttered its doors, about a year ago or more? 2 years?
Yeah, I'd say that maybe 2 years, year, 2 years, something like that.
I don't think it was COVID related. I think it was just, it was business related. Now, the announcement has been made by IKEA Canada that 3 new studios are going to be opening, design studios, as they refer to them, from IKEA. One of those will be at the Penn Centre off 406 in Glendale there. So, but in depth, it's not the facility you were hoping for, Kevin, is it really?
No, because even when
I
they
feel
were at Fairview Mall, they did have a certain stock on hand. You could go in and buy the meatballs. They had a couple of freezers there. You could buy some utensils. You could buy, I really like the IKEA Ziploc bags. There was some small furniture items that you could buy there, and you could also have anything delivered to that location for you to pick up.
Right.
Otherwise, we have to go to Hamilton. This new store is simply a design store. So if you're designing a kitchen, if you're designing a closet, things like that, the pack system, what have you, you can go to the Penn Center and schedule a one-on-one appointment with somebody there that will walk you and help you through that process. They, however, will not have any stock on hand, and they will also not accept deliveries. That said, I did understand that there is a delivery location up on Welland Avenue, right around the Canadian Tire.
Okay.
I've never used it. I didn't know that you could do that, but I guess for people living in Niagara that don't want to drive to Hamilton...
Is that so-called Penguin Mall?
Yeah, they called it the Penguin Mall, which I think is a brand name of some of the
It is a
big
brand
box
name
stores.
for like a business center.
So I think I looked it up on the map, 259. It was the Canadian Tire store.
Right.
I don't know whether it's affiliated with Canadian Tire, whether they have a small little storefront in that strip mall where the Goodwill is, or how it works. But for a lot of people, like I design my stuff online on IKEA.
Well, I'm sorry for your meatballs, Kevin.
I know.
I feel
it's
for
the
you.
Ziploc bags. Really have to drive all the way to Hamilton for better Ziploc bags?
I don't know. Ziploc bags apparently are not created equal.
No.
Now, are they actually called? Here's the Kleenex and tissue debate. Are they actually called Ziploc? Ziploc is a brand name. Are they Ziploc bags or are they IKEA plastic bags? You know what I'm saying?
At least with Kleenex, people understand that they're facial tissues.
I know.
What's the other
But
phrase?
people will buy Scotties and call them a Kleenex.
But what's the other phrase that
Give
we
me
use
a
for
Kleenex.
I know, but I don't think we have another phrase for Ziploc bags.
This is what I'm saying.
So Ziploc is done really good.
Yeah. Do you call every plastic adhesive strip a Band-Aid?
Yes.
Yes, but they're not all Band-Aids. Band-Aid is a brand.
And I call them all Q-tips as well, Lee.
There you go.
Whether it's a cotton swab on a stick, doesn't matter to me.
So, if you go online and you want Kevin's kind of plastic self-closing bag, it may not be a Ziploc bag.
No, it might be an IKEA Ziploc bag. Lee, I'll throw in a story here, and I think I'll let you tell the crux of it, but I can fill in some of the details if necessary.
Now what story are we talking about? Yes. This is really what I would think of as a pretty proud moment for a couple of organizations. Of course, Start Me Up Niagara, but also Niagara 411. So a tip of the beau chapeau to Nick and, well, a little bit to us, because we did touch on this quite some time ago. But anyway, mainly to Niagara 411, that Start Me Up Niagara had one of the biggest results to their drive after they did a piece on Niagara 411 and did a piece on this program. They had an incredible Thanksgiving. We're so pleased. They served over 475 Thanksgiving dinners. That's a lot of people that enjoyed fellowship and a good meal and a chance to actually give thanks for something tangible over the course of Thanksgiving. Niagara raised 25 turkeys, 250 pounds of potatoes, over $6,000 in cash. And together, as I said, they served over 475 Thanksgiving dinners over last weekend. So that's really nice. Really nice.
And Lee, just to add to it, you may have covered it. They said that they'd already received enough. But we're going to get Start Me Up Niagara on this show in about 2 or 3 weeks to promote another fundraiser that is more fall Christmassy themed.
Sure.
So they're coming on.
Well, congrats to Start Me Up Niagara. You do great work. Super.
Coming up at the end of the program, we are once again going to feature some of the music that was part of the Welland Mayor's Charity Gala.
Right, yeah.
Today it's Jessica Wilson, who's been on this show a couple of times, talking about her endeavors across Canada and beyond. But Jessica Wilson
She's been
was
on
part
this
of
show
that.
before, yeah.
So stick around for that. Just a lovely singer. Lee, I know this is something that has made the rounds. It seems to be the Tiger King of today, and you got bitten.
I did. Squid Game. Are you into this thing? Do you know what it is? And I'm asking everybody because this is one of those hot trends, if you will. This thing is sweeping the globe, and it originated in South Korea, this so-called game. And so my wife is away visiting kids and grandkids and stuff, so I have control of the clicker. So I went on Netflix and I decided to click on something that I knew she would never click on. It's sort of my opportunity to go off the grid with the clicker. So I go on to Netflix and I go to this, because I've been reading about it, I go to this Squid Game thing, and it opens up describing a game that children play in South Korea that they call the Squid Game, because the court that they play on is shaped like a squid. And then it goes on to explain how the game works. Okay, fine. Kind of like a nouveau version of a hopscotch or something. But that's simplifying it. But anyway, that's the Squid Game as a game. Well, the series then goes, I clicked on episode 1, and it goes into this Now series. Now this is the story of this kid grown up, and I gotta tell you, the first thing that struck me was the fact that it is dubbed in English. It's not in English, because you can tell that the voice doesn't match the sound. Sort of like an old bad Bruce Lee movie where it just doesn't fit. Not quite that bad, but you could tell that it was overdubbed. Well, I don't really get off on overdubbing, so I have to be perfectly honest. I stopped watching it because it was irritating me. But apparently, this thing is hotter than hot. All around. Netflix's? It is the hottest thing on Netflix, is this Squid Game thing. Kevin, do you know anything about this thing? Have you ever seen it?
No, other than everybody's talking about it.
I know.
Some good and some bad, and I know nothing about it.
And I was just put off because of the English dubbing thing. But maybe I should have kept watching it. I might have got past that and got engrossed in the actual show.
It's like when I start a movie to learn that it's all subtitles.
Subtitles,
I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't sign up for this.
A lot of, notice how fast subtitles go by sometimes? Like you've got a paragraph like this, and oh, it's gone.
Lee, check this out from yesterday. I don't know, seminal moment in time or kind of sidebar stunt casting?
All right.
Get to it in just a second.
Okay, what have you done to me? Ah, there they are. That is so awesome. Captain James T. Kirk, otherwise known as William Shatner, an Ontario native, one of 4 people, and the oldest person ever to go into space in Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket program. And that happened yesterday, and he was in tears. It was only an 10 or 11 minute trip. But after it was over, he gave Bezos a hug and said, "You made an old guy really happy," or some such thing. And he was actually in tears, and I could totally understand why. Can you imagine a man that made probably one of the first guys ever to make space the final frontier, as they say.
Here they are. I mean, why so phallic? Were there no other designs?
Kevin,
I'm stating the obvious.
I was going to let that one go because I made enough references to the tower that used to be standing on the old GM site on Ontario Street, and look at that. Is that not the best picture ever? I don't even know if somebody made it up or if it's actual, but it sure looks real to me. And way to go, Bill. That is funny.
That's got to be real, right? I mean, that seems like something that Shatner would do.
I'll go to my grave hoping that's real.
Yeah, good point. I just want to believe.
I don't want to find out that it's not real, because that would destroy my day. Something we should have talked about when we were talking about, I want to rewind here, Harriet Tubman's statue being vandalized this past week, is there was another chapter in the story of the stolen statue of General Drummond in Niagara Falls. And they have managed to arrest someone that was responsible. I think it was a guy in his 40s, one of the people, because one person couldn't do it on their own, responsible for stealing the general off his horse in Niagara. And Kevin and I guess the peninsula at large, were kind of debating as to why this would happen. The general feeling was that it was for the material. And as it turns out, they're pretty sure that's why. That things that are stolen or things that are of that material are often cut into smaller pieces and sold for their value once cemented down, etc., melted down, etc. So that's why they figure it was done. And it was easier to take the statue off the horse than to take the whole darn thing. They probably would have loved the horse, or maybe planned on coming back for the horse someday when they had bigger equipment. I don't know. But they do have a man in custody, but they believe there are others who were allegedly involved with this thing. That's kind of how I understand it. That's a real thumbnail summary of where it is. But at least they got the alleged perpetrator of that crime. Also going to rewind. We're jumping around a bit, I know, but while we've been talking about the COVID vaccination things, the Canadian government, or Ontario government, I believe, Government Ministry of Health, has sent an open letter to doctors of the province, urging them to increase the number of in-person patient visits that they have in their office. Some doctors already have. Some doctors do things just simply over the telephone. That's what my doctor does. Doesn't really, I don't really like it, but it is what it is. I mean, again, to go to an old phrase that we've used before in this program, it's not a hill I'm going to die on. But the government, the Ministry of Health, has urged doctors, there's the open letter, right there. And as you can see, the print's pretty small. But
yeah, I mean, are optometrists on this? Because holy,
yeah, send it to optometrists. And it explains their position, et cetera, and it's a lot of political type speech. Nevertheless, that's what they've done. They've sent an open notice to doctors across the province, urging them to fully return in-person visits to their.
We got some sort of weird photo shoot happening behind us here.
We do?
Well, we got a guy at the front there who's got some sort of a professional camera, and he seems to be traveling with quite the entourage.
When I was coming in, I drove by these people and see the turquoise type T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know what those T-shirts say, but when I was driving into the set here at Fiddler's, on James Street, these people were all standing around, sort of. I guess they were gathering for some sort of walk, and that must be the walk.
Yeah, I mean, here you can just see them getting away in the distance there. They're by the Rankin Bridge going over to the Meridian Centre where we spoke to Kay earlier on.
Yeah. I don't know why they're there. I don't know what almost all of them are looking at cell phones. And they're strolling through downtown St. Catharines. I know not why.
It looked like there was a girl at the front would be the person that is like in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. The way she was dressed and had her makeup.
Maybe they're supposedly streaming it with a much inferior product than WeeStreem.
Yeah, they're probably looking in the window over at Fiddler's Poorhouse saying, hey, what's going on?
We need those.
Pretty busy down here at
We
Fiddler's.
need those WeeStream guys.
The word is getting out. They do need the WeeStream guys.
Yeah, everybody needs the WeeStream guys. Hey, speaking of which, personal note, everybody, I ran into your partner. Speaking of WeeStream guys, Kevin Jack and Brandon Scram were the two guys that started this company, 2013? 15. Well, I was walking my dog yesterday morning, and whom is walking toward me but the Scram family. And Brandon and his wife are walking their son Nathan to school. They were resplendent, they meaning Brandon and Nathan, in their Montreal Canadien shirts.
God, you might kill me for putting this up, but it's got to be done.
There they are.
Not the first day of school, the opening day of hockey for Les Habitants.
Yes, and of course this was last night.
This is yesterday morning.
Yeah, the matchup between Montreal and Toronto at the Rogers Centre in Toronto. COVID certainly didn't deter a $21,000 sold-out house from going to that game, and Kevin has the right to crow today because his Leafs won the game. So sorry, Brent. It was nice to see you out on the street and meet your family, but sorry about your luck last night. Can't help you there.
So Lee, playing us out here, we're going to hear from Jessica Wilson.
Yeah, is it that time?
Welland native, doing work in Toronto. She was out on the East Coast earlier this summer. Multi-talented. She's an actress, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, and above all else, she's just a really nice person. Happy to call her a friend of the program, so we'll be featuring some of her music as recorded and streamed live by WeeStreem.
And before we go, because we're over time already, but it's our show, we can go over time. I truly, again, want to thank Jan James for coming on here and putting herself way out there to help us with this vax or no vax debate. Really, really good of you, Jan, to come on the show. So visit her site. She does great work. Niagara Things to Do on Facebook. And to Kay Meilleur, marketing director for the Meridian Centre. Awesome to have you here. Good luck with the MMA on November 20th. To everybody else who participated in the program, Kevin, thank you. It's always a pleasure. Gales Gas Bars and Performance Heating and Air, and WIC, as well as Virgin Insurance. A pleasure. My name is Lee Sterry. We'll do it again in a week. And we're going to get played off the stage by Jess. See ya.
Sitting there in your jean jacket, you think you're cool, but I have had it. That look in your eyes tells me you're cocky. In your mind you think you got me. We don't talk, and I don't plan to come over there and get to know you. Sly as a fox, I know what you're thinking. Staring me down, you're barely blinking. It's just a game. Everyone plays, the wager's the same, but you're having one today. 52 cards in a deck, but I'm not another number. Not a king nor a queen. My poker face lets you wonder. Play the ace full house and I go hard, just to let you know I'm not your average wild card. Wild card. The bet is high, but I call your bluff. Unshaved cheeks and looking rough. One girl on each arm, how impressive. I think you're a tad obsessive. Going on like you have money, cars and yachts, but I'm not your honey. You wish you had a royal flush, but you can't even make me blush. It's just a game. Everyone plays, the wager's the same, but you're having one today. 52 cards in a deck, but I'm not another number. Not a king nor a queen. My poker face lets you wonder. Play the ace full house and I go hard, just to let you know I'm not your average wild card. Wild card. Oh, not your wild card. Not your wild card. I do it at the cards in a deck, but I'm not another number. Not a king nor a queen. My poker face lets you wonder. Place full house and I go hard, just to let you know I'm not your average wild card.